basically have a conversation with you guys. And it doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent or what we got going on here. Homeowner, buyer, seller, anybody that's in the market right now, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. It's definitely taking shape here. So we've been having a lot of conversations with people, or a lot of people have been asking me what's going on with the market. I have a lot of agents saying like, "Hey, is there a slowdown? What's happening? We thought my house was going to sell." Yes, there are homes selling. There are some that aren't selling. And there's a lot of things that are taking shape. And so what I decided to do is like, let's break it down. Let's talk about what we can expect in the fall. Let's take a place of school starting pretty much across the country right now. In Charlotte specifically, we've definitely had it, and it has started. Some of our schools in Iredell, Mooresville County have already started, and then the ones in Mecklenburg County, they're getting ready to go back. Tomorrow is actually their first day of school, so things have kind of shifted a little bit. In case you haven't seen it, and I'm going to set that stage here. My name is Brock.zevan, and just like it says in the Facebook and on the Zoom, been in the business for 15 years, been very fortunate. I have a team, an icon agent, and been in this industry and coaching and teaching for the last 7 years. So I take a look at this stuff because it sets the stage. Being a football coach, being with CMS for 12 years, this kind of gives me my playbook of what the second half is going to look like. We're already in the third quarter. It's going to tell me, well, how I'm going to finish this year. How am I going to finish this game to make sure that I'm winning, and where do I need to line myself up, as well as more importantly, to be able to share with my clients what's taking shape to set up the stage. And so I say that I basically take everything from a little bit of Canopy. It was, as you can see, August 16th are where the notes come from. And I share with you kind of what I'm seeing as well on the real estate side of things. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, feel free to put it in here. Set it up for me. Make a comment in Facebook. And if you're on Zoom, you can let me know there on there as well. So let's talk about this. The market we're seeing a slowdown here in Charlotte. I was just up in New York. We have a team up there in upstate New York. They are not at that point yet. Probably most of the northern part of the country are not there yet. And that's just because their spring season starts later than ours. So when we get our thing up and running and going, we are ahead of them just based off of the season. All right. There is no special formula like what's different up there than it is here. It's just the season of where we are. And we start spring a little bit earlier here. So people are out, they're active, and they're doing things. So that's the only main reason why you see a shift. Different parts of the country where we are, California, Texas, Florida, totally different package down there because of their season as well. I talked to a client, or talked to an agent down there, top producer. He's telling me things are still on fire down there. A lot has to do with their weather and where they are. We could see a slowdown due to the hurricanes in that season over there. So like everything is based off of the weather and season to some aspect of things. And some people might disagree with me, but I'm going to tell you this: when the beaches are packed, when people are traveling, when government money keeps coming in for them to spend it on, people are going to do things differently. We're in a COVID year. Things are starting. We just had restrictions being placed back on us here in North Carolina, and especially Mecklenburg County. It affects things and what we're doing. More importantly, schools, families, they want to establish routine. And the numbers show it here, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about it. But you got to understand that we're going to see a slowdown here. We're expecting to see a little bit of a perk happening between now and probably middle of October. So have you been thinking about selling? Have you been thinking about really trying to take advantage of the interest rates? I'm just telling you right now, we got a short window before the holidays hit for you to take advantage of that. So I would say to you is, hey, if you're thinking about it, let us know, because there's an opportunity there before the holidays hit. Everything's done in 60-day increments, and this is what's going to take shape. We're going to see a little bit. We're going to get through the routine of opening schools, and then we're going to get back into an opportunity for sellers and buyers here. So why do I see some of this data? Let's just talk about it here. So across the sale in the Charlotte market alone, and this is based off of what we saw in July, the momentum has lost. There's a 10.5 percentage falling from last year to this year. Well, how do we reference last year to this year? We both are in two unique years, and that's because of COVID. And in plain and simple, due to that was because COVID held us together where we were not able to show homes till about the end of May. So everybody was so excited to get out and to be able to do things because they didn't know when the end was going to come again. So our market was much different than it is now. Now we deal with the market that everybody are sitting on lottery tickets because they want to see how much money they could sell their house for. I was talking to somebody yesterday and they're like, Brock, I cannot believe I can actually sell my house at this point. I'm kind of thinking maybe I should wait a little bit longer. I'm just telling you this now. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to do anything except to tell you that this cannot last forever. There will be an end and it won't be like whoosh, okay? It won't completely fall off the edge, but it'll gradually slow down and you want to keep a close eye on that. For those who have real estate agents, talk to them, ask them, hey, what are you seeing and what's going to take place? Because we are starting to see a shift. We are seeing a slowdown. I think the slowdown is based, I talked about this last month. I think it's just because of the transition of the season of the year. But our numbers here are also showing us last year in Charlotte alone, we had 5,189 homes sold compared to last year, 5,796 homes sold. Yes, that 600 doesn't seem a lot, but when you say 10%, those numbers start to mean something across the board, and you need to start recognizing that. And we need to start educating buyers and sellers on what that means. Some of the other things that I've noticed here, basing on the demand, is the buyer's demand. Okay, the buyer's demand right now is still very high. Well, how can that be? Well, because interest rates are very low. So when the feds keep these interest rates really low, it makes buyers very attracted to being like, hey, I had, I don't know, 2 conversations, let alone yesterday, of people saying, I think I'm going to hold on to my money and not pay cash. Well, why is that? Well, it's so cheap to borrow money right now. Why would you? Keep your money, save it up, try to put it into some stocks and some other accounts to be able to have a better return, and borrow this 3% interest rate on your property. So things to take a look at is the buyer demand still high. Sellers still have an opportunity to sell your house based off of what we're seeing because we still have a lack of inventory. Here's my concern though. Okay, sellers, here's what if you are thinking about selling your house and you're trying to figure out a price, the days on the market are going to be very important to you. And real estate agents, if you're going into a listing appointment, I need you to make sure you understand this. If the seller says, I want to list my house astronomically higher, you better have a game plan of a price improvement plan. Sellers, I understand. You want to see what's out there. You want to test the market. I get it. It makes sense to some degree, but we're on the back end turn here in Charlotte. Okay. Up north, you might still be in that realm that you can do that because they're still in the heavy summer time period. They still have that opportunity where you're still technically, like not technically, but in the spring market where they're still having people finish fixing up their houses. Okay. But the thing is that I want you to understand is that you better take advantage of this time period, because once we get past October and we get into it, your people are not going to be like, well, I don't want to sell my house during Thanksgiving. I don't want to sell my house during Christmas, which we have a whole nother set of objections during that time period during the holidays. And that just means you have a lack of inventory or lack of competition, and there are still buyers there. So the key ingredient is really going to be looking at what the buyers are doing. And with the 10-year note and the 10-year yield, we had a great conversation with Dr. Lawrence Yun, who's the NAR chief executive, and he was talking about that's the number to take a look at because that's dictating what direction the buyer and the interest rates are going. And we are seeing a shift in those numbers too. So when I say this across the board, everybody, and I look at these things and I tell you this, all right, is he really making this up or where is he coming with this? 1 is through experience. 2 is in the trenches of this. And 3 is the numbers are basically saying across the board here is we're starting to see a decline in sales. Month-to-month comparison, the July 2020 closed sales went down 5.7%. Okay. We're also having issues with trying to get in touch with attorneys. It's a little bit harder to get closings going in. So we're having to push things farther along. The new listing activity has increased only 5.2% year over year as sellers listed 6,282 homes just in the month of July. Okay, marking this is the fourth month that the rising seller confidence improved. Okay, let's just talk about what that really means, the definition of the rising seller confidence. What that means is basically sellers are just saying, hey, I want to sell my house for the maximum dollar amount and let me see what I got. Let me throw something out at the wall and see if it sticks. Okay. And why we're seeing, and I didn't take a look and I should have looked at it. Maybe I will while we're on here. Looking at the price improvements, the price improvement dollar amounts have been really, really going up now, meaning real estate agents are having to have conversations with agents saying, hey, I want to be able to have a conversation with you where we are only doing sorry, I got distracted on my computer here. We are only doing we are only going to be looking at price improvements to understand that, hey, your price is not going to be there. And for those of you who are trying to figure out when you want to do your price improvement, better understand that you can only do it. You got to give yourself no more than 21 days. You have to have a conversations with your sellers for them to understand what that looks like, for them to share with them that if they don't do something within those 21 days, every day that it sits on the market, a buyer's really going to come after you with a lower price. So you've got to be aggressively looking at that, so that way that price does not stay stagnant on there. But we still are in a lack of inventory, and let me share with you and prove that to you. So I looked at the numbers here in the Charlotte area and what that looks like. So in the Charlotte area, primarily Lake Norman, where I'm at, is I looked at what we have for homes in Huntersville and then broke it down in Cornelius. Okay. Just the homes alone in Huntersville, there's only 6 homes coming soon. 6. That's it, everybody. All right. Only 57 of them are active. Okay. 57 homes and only 6 of them are coming up. All right. In the last 30 days, 158 went under contract. Right? There's thousands of people who live in this area and we only have 57 homes to look at. And so buyers are looking at it and be like, well, I want to sell my house, but I don't know where to go. So we get ourselves in this log jam, and you got to explain to clients of the opportunities that they have. But buyer agents, you're going to have to explore more. You're going to have to door knock more. You're going to, if you're thinking about selling your house, you got to raise your hand up and let us know, because you got buyers out here that are looking, and we have all these our search engines are full to the top because buyers are trying to find homes, but they're not seeing it. So they're just like, they're reluctant to put their house on the market. So sometimes you can't see the homes because they're just waiting. They're like, well, I haven't found the right home. So once I find the right home, and then I'll list my house. Well, the problem is most of those, the sellers don't want to take a contingent offer. So if you're trying to figure out how to overcome this contingency type of thing, well, that's a whole nother conversation. You got to let us know, because we can explain that to you of how to get away with contingent offers and how to list your house and sell your house sell your house at the same time trying to buy a house to take advantage of the interest rates, with trying to look at homes what we call off market. And that's what we do. We have lists that are off market list. And that's how we're able to see some of the homes that are possibly there, that eventually we're on the market at some point, and that's our off market list that we do. So I share this with you, and let me just see. Let me just change this. And then I looked at I want to look at Cornelius, and Cornelius has right now, I'm looking at it, 63 homes that are under contract. We had 158 in Huntersville, 63 alone in Cornelius. And let me talk about the active homes. The active homes are 26, and the coming soon are 9. All right. Now, if I really broke down the pricing where statistically most homeowners are between the 200 and 400 price point, we got 1 coming soon, and we have 2 active. Okay. Let me just say that again. Between 200,000 and 400,000 in the entire town of Cornelius, there are 2 homes. Okay. From that, let's just talk about the ones in Huntersville, just since we're at numbers here. 11, two towns. Okay, two towns. I have 13 homes active. Okay, do you think we have a little bit of a challenge here? Do you think we see like, well, Brock, how can we be in a slowdown? Well, we're in a slowdown because there are no homes. Okay, there's no homes for people to move, so activity is not moving. So when people ask me like, Brock, how's the real estate market? It is, I mean, it's great, but it's not healthy. We're not in a healthy market. So what does the fall look like in conclusion here? The fall is going to look like pretty much that we're going to still see a slowdown. We're not going to see a drastic increase like we do in the springtime. They're saying, predicting that we will continuously see this slowdown. We might see the numbers maybe go up 2 or 3% in September. And that's just because it's the final draw before we get into the holidays. So you're going to see that little increase, but it's going to be pretty much the same, and then it's going to drop. Statistically, it always drops in November and December. It's always our slowdown period. It's a time period where we do have a lack of inventory. The season is not as vibrant. The flowers and all that's blooming. It's more of the challenging time period, but it's also an opportunity time period. So don't be like, oh gosh. I say this because if you have an opportunity now, you should take it. Don't wait to think like the market is going to increase and the sale prices are going to increase. We're not seeing that. And Dr. Lawrence Young stated that we're not going to see that. What is 2022 going to look like? Forecasting what they've said to me, and that aspect of things, they're saying that we're probably going to see pretty much staying the same in 2022. One of the things I looked at here, let me just see. The overall inventory will stay the same, but in Mecklenburg, I don't know, where was the numbers here? Hold on a second, everybody. They were talking about the new construction. With the new construction costs, like a lot of people ask about new construction, what that all means. They're basically just saying that with the new construction, the cost of prices have gone down a little bit, but the builders are not going to take on and let themselves get to 07 and 08 where they're going to have this huge amount of inventory because something happens, they're stuck, and they don't want that to take place. So I say to you that the opportunity is probably right now. I say what the forecast looks like going into 2021, the rest of the year, is across the country. The northern part of the countries are going to stay pretty much, they're going to stay hot right now for another 30 days, I got to believe. Charlotte, mid-south here, we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown. Texas out west, a little bit different breed. Fortunately, we got to deal with COVID restrictions depending on your state. We're seeing a lot of relocation coming out of California, New York, Seattle, Chicago right now, especially in areas that don't have as many restrictions. I'm not getting into politics. I'm just telling you that's what we see. That's what the numbers show. South Carolina just shared with us. Literally, I just put a house under contract. It was a new construction home. Their internet website, search engine optimizing, shared them that their increase of traffic has gone up 1,300% from outside the state. I mean, I was like blown away by that. Okay. So you got to understand some of the stuff that's going on out here. So it doesn't mean like things are falling apart. South Carolina might be a little bit different down there. Well, they are a little bit different, but for the most part, we are coming into that phase and then into 2021. It's the holidays. It's just typical that we see. So going into 2022, we're still seeing that we're going to be stabilizing. We're not going to see anything drastic. So if you're thinking that the market's going to move up, it's not. Is it going to fall down? No, it's not. It's going to stabilize in reference to this. I think people might put their houses more on the market in the next 6 weeks, and that's just because, hey, they waited long enough. Let's take advantage of it. School started. They're ready to move forward as long as they can keep routine. But we're still having people. I had a phone call yesterday saying they want to just take advantage of the market. They're going to rent. Rentals have gone up as well. So Does anybody got any questions for me? Anybody got anything out there that they wanted to ask me? Anybody wanted to say anything? I do have a couple. Yes. So are we, should I list my house now? Well, it all depends. It depends on what's going on. Like the one person was talking about the subdivision in dealing with each subdivision's different. I got one that's on fire. You got another one that we're sitting out and there is no HOA and it's been sitting on the market a little bit longer than normal. I think it's a lot of things just depend on the situation and scenario. Am I seeing homes sit on the market 60 days? No, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing even 30 days, seeing less than 30 days across the board. Pretty much even price points are staying that. Now, the thing is if you overprice it, it will sit. And it doesn't matter what market you're in. If you overprice it, it will sit. So the agents better do a very good job of sharing with the seller, hey, this is my game plan. If I overprice this home, the days on the market are going to sit and the buyers are going to frown from it. And your question is going to be like, what's going on with the market? Is it slowing out? No, it's just, we didn't price the home accurately. So make sure that you price the home accurately so you don't get yourself into that. A new agent, I realized to learn and implement. Okay. So Carolina was just sending me something here. So that's what I have. I wanted just to share with you guys. I wanted to just talk about what I'm seeing in the market, what Canopy, which is our MLS, what they're saying. They're across the board. They did say the average sale price is gone up, which we already knew that because all our demand is going up. So that's kind of not anything different there. So conclusion, just take advantage of what you can right now. Take advantage of the seller's market, take advantage as a buyer, take advantage of the low interest rates, and surround yourself with quality people that are going to put you in the right position. Tony Robbins said something about strategies and tactics. And he says, you can have all the right strategies, you can have all the right tactics that you have. But if you don't apply it at the right time, it doesn't matter what takes place. For example, our strategies and our tactics to buy homes right now are a little bit different, a lot different than they were in 07 and 08 when the market was crumbling and crashing. Okay. Totally different environment. Same strategy, same tactics to some extent. We get in the car, we show you a house, we pull up a market analysis, we break it down. But now we got a little bit of a difference. There's a little bit different things going on in this market when we're trying to find homes for buyers and how we're selling homes and not overpricing them and keeping those price improvements to where they need to be. So you don't have to do so many of them because every time you do a price improvement, it drags out your sale. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to add some more stuff. Feel free to put it in the message here. We'll be putting this back out again for recording it. My email, Brock.zevan@gmail.com. You can call me, text me, 704-728-1008. All this information will be inside the video that we have here, as well as on my YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I try to reach out to customers and clients to be able to share with them what's going on in the industry and doing mindset as well. Some of my videos that I do coaching. Tomorrow, I'm actually doing another live video talking about open houses. Open houses are starting to come back. Why? Because days on the market are starting to grow. We used to have homes sold in a day or two, so we didn't get to do an open house. We're going to get ready to go back to open houses, and we're going to be talking about that and what that looks like to help people, help agents do open houses successfully. Sellers don't like to leave their house for 3 hours and find out that nobody came to their house or only one person came to their house. So we're going to talk about that, how we do our open houses. We just had an open house last Saturday for 2 hours. We had 7 couples come through. 3 of them did not have a buyer agent. And out of the 7, 1 of them was very interested in making an offer and actually is supposedly talking to their agent and putting something together. So it's an opportunity, but it's got to be done correctly. We'll be doing that tomorrow afternoon. So join us for that at 12:15. All right, guys, that's all the time I have today. I appreciate it. My name is Brock.zevan. If there's anything I can do for you, anything at all, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to be able to share with you what we do, how I coach, and how our team operates. All right. Thanks so much. You guys have a great one, and we'll talk to everybody soon. See ya.